Nightreign has brought all of Elden Ring's weapons to a new generation of FromSoft fans. But where a lot of us were able to play Elden Ring for 70 hours per playthrough for days on end, trying out all kinds of weapons, ashes of war, spells, respecking, etc., Nightreign players haven't had the time or opportunity because of the roguelike mechanics. You just can't choose whatever you go into an expedition with. So today I wanted to show off 10 of my favorite weird weapons in Nightreign for you to try out next time you find one on the field. Number 1, Rosus Axe. Rosus Axe is a little bit interesting because it's a dex scaling axe in a category where basically everything else scales with strength. And I got a big glow up in its current version compared to Elden Ring, with its skeleton seemingly dealing physical damage instead of magic. The axe moveset itself is nothing special, and power stancing axes has never been the best idea, but the summons deal a surprising amount of damage and stun. So because of the scaling and the spammability of the Ash of War, I really like this one on Duchess, but it'll work on any dexterity character. Number 2, Iron Cleaver and Stone Club. Two different weapons sharing a similar moveset. Both the Iron Cleaver and the Stone Club are some of my favorite strength weapons. They're fast, deal tons of damage, stagger very frequently, and are just neat, I guess. They're both fantastic on Raider, as I showcased in my recent Raider guide, but also on Wilder and surprisingly on Guardian. The Cleaver's Charge R2 covers some impressive distance, while dealing a respectable 33 stance damage, so it gives you a great closing tool whenever you get pushed out of range of a guard counter. Meanwhile, the Stone Club's Charge R2 deals a whopping 40 stance damage and has stronger guard counters than even Great Spears. If you don't know how good 40 stance damage is, the Fell Omen boss, for example, has 80 poise, so you can stun him with 2 Charged R2s without accounting for any interruption in the middle. So whenever you get these, whether in the shop or as a drop, make sure you give them a try. Number 3, Varré's Bouquet. Another weapon that got a massive glow up in Nightreign with the scaling being fixed. Varré's Bouquet has A scaling in strength, bleed, stun, the whole package. It's surprisingly rare and often doesn't have the best Ash of War options, but it's just funny to use, honestly, and easy to power sense with another hammer, which are fairly frequent. Obviously, Wilder and Raider are the best choices here, but as a hammer, even Guardian can take advantage of it, as previously mentioned, if you don't mind the lack of range. Number 4, Alabaster Lord's Sword. The Alabaster Lord's Sword looks like a regular run-of-the-mill greatsword with a decent moveset, good damage, and some magic damage to boot. But what a lot of people don't know is that its Charge R2s have a higher motion value than the rest of the category. If you don't know what motion value is, it's essentially how hard a move hits. So the Alabaster swings as fast as a greatsword, but hits as hard as an ultra greatsword. To compensate, it does lose a little bit of poise damage compared to the rest of the weapons in this category, but if damage is your thing, nothing quite beats the Alabasters. Now, you may be wondering, well, if it's a weapon thing, does this mean that Wilder's unique moveset gets rid of it? And this is the part where I tell you that I have no idea. There's no way to properly test that, so your guess is as good as mine, but it's still a fantastic greatsword to use on both Wilder and Raider. Number 5, Zamor Curved Sword. A curved greatsword, often overlooked for its slower R1s and mediocre damage, really shines as a monstrous frostbite machine. I first found out about this weapon thanks to another beautiful weapon called the Fire Knight's Greatsword in Elden Ring, which FromSoft rightfully had to nerf for being able to proc and clear frostbite with the same attacks. So I resorted to a trash spell called Fire's Deadly Sin to clear it for me. Long story short, the results were quite surprising, and though it's difficult to get the combo here in Nightreign, any source of fire will do just fine between your teammates and spells like Magma Shot. The Ash of War version of Zamor Ice Storm deals over 39 stance damage and 630 frostbite buildup. If you don't know, Caligo, for example, has an initial frostbite resistance of 541, the highest of any Nightlord. So if you ever find this curved greatsword, you're in for a good time. As usual with weapon art spamming, my default character is Duchess, but this should work on any character with loss of FP and good magic damage. Number 6, Grave Scythe. Admittedly the best in the category, the Reapers themselves are often overlooked because no one really wants them. People seem to just prefer katanas for bleed, spears for range, and curved swords for speed, but the Grave Scythe combines everything in a nice little package, including great range, natural bleed, pretty fast attacks, and some of the best vertical swings in the game if flying enemies are a problem. I personally like them a lot on Iron Eye because they have lots of range when I get out of the mark animation, but they'll work on any Dex character. Number 7, Treespear. The Treespear was by far the worst Great Spear in Elden Ring, and for a good reason, with a horrible CD scaling. But in Nightreign, it enjoys a much better CB scaling. meaning it's not only good on Guardian, but also surprisingly usable on Dex characters, and the best on Wilder, which many weapons are. The two things that I love most about this Great Spear are its reach, being tied for the second longest behind Mohg's Trident, and its moveset, which hits twice on charged R2s. It doesn't do any more poise damage, but as you might have guessed, it does have a much higher motion value than any other Great Spear in the game. So if you play Big Bird, or you want a pretty hefty Dex weapon in your hands, you've got something you need to try here. Number 8, Revenant's Cursed Claws. Throwing you a curveball here, we have Revenant's Cursed Claws, because they work wonderfully on both Recluse and Revenant. If you are playing any other character with these claws, primarily Recluse, you'll find that the moveset is basically just Star Fists, and that also explains their incredible stun damage. But also, they have a special property in their reviving speed. If you're not aware, each weapon class has a fixed number that determines how many hits are required to revive a teammate, and Revenant's Cursed Claws, despite being classified as a fist weapon, deal as much revive damage as a greatsword per hand. That means you're hitting each down teammate with 2 greatswords per R1. In my guide, I recommended you to infuse them with Holy, so if you're tired of just throwing fireballs as Revenant, or you're looking for a fun build as Recluse, give these a try for a melee build. Number 9, Cranial Vessel Candlestand. This one is admittedly a little bit more popular. The Cranial Vessel Candlestand is just a fantastic strength weapon, but the Ash of War is incredible. It just wrecks fire weak bosses like Sentient's Pest and Caligo. The only thing you have to worry about is FP though, so make sure you bring some Starlight Shards with you into the boss fight. Other great weapons that do the same thing though are the Magma Blade and Grafted Dragon, which also got a huge glow up compared to Elden Ring. Altogether, these are the best weapons for just dealing a fuck ton of fire damage if you're interested, and if you're fighting a fire weak boss like the upcoming Everdark Caligo, give these a try. Number 10, Bloody Helice. And finally, I'm reserving a slot for my favorite weapon in Elden Ring. The Bloody Helice is a must-try for any Dex character, not only because of its style and grace and its looks, but also just raw power. It gives you 20 iframes, where a normal dodge gives you only 13. It can be aimed in any direction, meaning you can backstep or sidestep attacks with it. Deals a whopping 55 stance damage altogether with not 1, but 2 optional follow-ups. Deals piercing damage, has the longest range of any heavy thrusting sword, has innate bleed, and also has a measly 5 FP cost for its spin, allowing you to use it on basically anyone for the iframes. There is quite literally nothing this weapon can't do, and it's still a shocker to me how people can ever not choose it when given the chance. So those are 10 of my favorite weapons in Elden Ring. I still got a few more, so if you're interested, we could do an episode 2 of this. Also, let me know if I missed any of your favorites. The weirder the better. Hopefully you learned a thing or two in this list, and give them a shot next time you play. And as always, have a good one.